This video is based on official German investigation reports and documented evidence. The story you're about to hear represents one of aviation's most preventable tragedies. A case where air traffic control failures and conflicting safety systems created a mid-air collision that claimed 71 lives. July 1, 2002. Two aircraft cruised through the peaceful night sky over southern Germany, their paths converging toward an invisible intersection above Lake Constance. Neither crew realizes they are minutes away from aviation's deadliest mid-air collision in European skies. Bashkirian Airlines Flight 2937, a Tupolev Tu-154, carries 60 passengers and 9 crew from Moscow to Barcelona. Among the passengers are 45 Russian schoolchildren from Bashkortostan, on a UNESCO-organized educational trip to Spain's Costa Dorada. The two-man crew manages the overnight cargo flight that should end with a normal arrival in the Belgian capital. At Zurich Area Control Center, a single air traffic controller manages multiple aircraft in Swiss airspace during the overnight shift. Unknown to him, a series of system failures and procedural gaps are creating conditions for catastrophic collision. This is the story of the Überlingen mid-air collision, how miscommunication between air traffic control and aircraft collision avoidance systems led to tragedy, and how competing instructions confused pilots in the critical moments before impact. The investigation will expose fundamental flaws in aviation procedures and change global standards for aircraft collision avoidance. Bashkirian Airlines Flight 2937 represents hope and dreams for 45 young Russian students beginning their educational journey to Spain. The charter flight carries children from prominent families in Bashkortostan, including sons and daughters of government officials and business leaders. The Tupolev Tu-154, registration RA85816, operates under the command of Captain Alexander Gross, a 52-year-old pilot undergoing evaluation for route certification to Barcelona. Chief pilot Oleg Grigoriev occupies the instructor's seat, monitoring Gross's performance throughout the flight. The complex crew structure includes First Officer Murat Ikulov, Flight Navigator Sergei Karlov, and Flight Engineer Oleg Valev, a 5-man crew reflecting Russian aviation traditions. The evaluation flight creates additional dynamics as Gross demonstrates his competency under Grigoriev's supervision. DHL Flight 611 operates as a routine cargo service connecting Bahrain to Brussels via an intermediate stop in Bergamo. The Boeing 757-200PF registration A9C DHL carries freight cargo and 2 experienced pilots on the overnight European leg. Captain Paul Phillips, 47, and First Officer Brant Campioni, 36, both based in Bahrain, manage the DHL cargo operation with extensive experience in Middle Eastern and European routes. Their professional freight operation represents the global logistics network that connects international commerce. Both aircraft cruise at flight level 360, 36,000 feet, on converging airways over Central Europe. The night provides excellent visibility with clear skies, creating perfect conditions for visual flight that will prove tragically inadequate for collision avoidance. At Zurich Area Control Center, operated by Swiss air navigation service SkyGuide, Peter Nielsen works the overnight shift managing aircraft in the complex airspace over southern Germany and northern Switzerland. The 36-year-old Danish air traffic controller faces an unusually demanding workload, as he simultaneously manages multiple frequencies and radar displays. System maintenance has reduced normal staffing, leaving Nielsen responsible for sectors normally handled by 2 controllers. Nielsen monitors 2 frequencies, 119.925 MHz for Friedrichshafen approach traffic and 128.05 MHz for high-altitude traffic, including flights 2937 and 61AB. He also operates 2 radar scopes while coordinating with adjacent control centers. Technical problems compound Nielsen's workload as telephone systems fail, preventing normal coordination with Friedrichshafen Airport. He repeatedly attempts to establish contact while managing aircraft movements through his sector. The STCA short-term conflict alert system designed to warn controllers of potential collisions is not functioning on Nielsen's radar display. This critical safety backup remains unavailable during the night shift when traffic levels typically require reduced automation support. Nielsen's attention becomes divided between resolving Friedrichshafen communication problems and monitoring converging traffic. The single controller faces task saturation as multiple problems demand simultaneous attention. As flights 2937 and 611 approach their intersection point, Nielsen recognizes the developing conflict, but his intervention comes too late to prevent collision through standard separation procedures alone. At 21:34:42 UTC, both aircraft receive TCAS traffic advisories warning of nearby traffic as they cruise toward their convergence point above Überlingen. The automated collision avoidance systems begin monitoring the developing conflict between the 2 aircraft. Peter Nielsen recognizes the separation problem approximately 1 minute before collision and instructs Bashkirian Tu-154 to send expeditiously to flight level 350. His transmission directs the Russian crew to avoid collision with crossing traffic. Seconds later, at 21:35:08 UTC, both aircraft receive TCAS resolution advisories (MA08) by most urgent automated collision avoidance commands. DHL 611 receives instructions to descend, while Bashkirian Tu-154 receives commands to climb. The TCAS instructions create coordinated separation as the system designs. One aircraft climbs while the other descends, ensuring vertical separation between converging traffic. If both crews follow TCAS commands, collision becomes impossible. However, Bashkirian Tu-154's crew faces conflicting instructions between TCAS climb commands and Nielsen's ATC descent instruction. Russian aviation procedures emphasize air traffic control authority over automated systems, creating confusion in the critical decision-making moment. Captain Gross and his evaluation crew must choose between following the air traffic controller's explicit descent instruction or obeying TCAS climb commands. The conflict reflects inadequate international standardization of TCAS procedures. DHL 611's crew immediately follows TCAS descent instructions, beginning coordinated collision avoidance as designed. However, their compliance depends on Bashkirian Tu-937 climbing as TCAS instructs, creating a life-or-death dependency on Russian crew decision-making. The stage is set for tragedy as two different aviation safety philosophies converge in the night sky over Germany. Before we continue with this critical sequence, we want to thank our viewers who follow through the pilot's eyes. These investigations into air traffic control conflicts help us understand aviation communication and collision avoidance challenges. Your subscriptions help us research these important aviation safety stories. Bashkirian Tu-937's crew makes the fatal decision to follow air traffic control instructions rather than TCAS commands. Captain Gross initiates descent as Nielsen instructed, disregarding the automated system's climb advisory. Russian aviation training emphasizes air traffic controller authority over automated systems, reflecting Soviet-era operational philosophy where ground control maintains ultimate responsibility for aircraft separation. The crew follows their training and procedures. DHL 611 continues its TCAS-directed descent, unaware that Bashkirian Tu-937 is also descending rather than climbing as the collision avoidance system requires. The coordinated separation designed by TCAS breaks down when only one aircraft complies. Nielsen repeats his descent instruction to Bashkirian Tu-937, unaware of TCAS advisories. He provides incorrect traffic information, telling the Russian crew that DHL traffic is at their 2 o'clock position when the Boeing actually approaches from their 10 o'clock. Both aircraft now descend through the same altitude block, eliminating the vertical separation that should prevent collision. The TCAS system's coordinated avoidance plan fails when crews follow different authorities. At 21:35:19, DHL 611's crew reports TCAS descent to air traffic control, but Nielsen doesn't hear the transmission as he focuses on other traffic. Critical information about the collision avoidance situation fails to reach the controller. The convergence continues as both aircraft descend toward the same altitude, with neither crew fully aware of the other's actions or intentions. 8 seconds before collision, Flight 2937's crew finally spots DHL 611 approaching from their left side, contradicting the controller's traffic position information. The visual contact comes too late to prevent the inevitable collision. Captain Phillips and First Officer Campioni aboard DHL 611 increase their descent rate in response to enhanced TCAS-I increased descent commands, following automated guidance designed to maximize separation from climbing traffic. Bashkirian Tu-937's crew recognizes their desperate situation as they see the Boeing 757 approaching on collision course. Captain Gross attempts to follow TCAS climb instructions, but insufficient time remains to avoid impact. 2 seconds before collision, Bashkirian Tu-937 initiates a climb attempt while DHL 611 continues descending. The last-minute maneuvering proves inadequate to prevent the physics of convergence already in motion. At 21:35:32 UTC, the aircraft collide at flight level 348 feet in an almost perpendicular impact. DHL 611's vertical stabilizer slices through Bashkirian Tu-937's fuselage just forward of the wings. The tremendous impact destroys both aircraft instantly, creating debris fields that spread across German countryside. Bashkirian Tu-937 breaks apart in flight while DHL 611 loses control and crashes inverted. All 71 people aboard both aircraft die instantly from impact forces. The mid-air collision becomes Europe's deadliest aviation accident of 2002, and exposes fundamental flaws in international aviation safety coordination. Ground witnesses report seeing flames and debris falling from the night sky as emergency services mobilize across the impact area near Überlingen and surrounding communities. The German Federal Bureau of Aircraft Accident Investigation (BFU) leads the complex international investigation involving German, Swiss, Russian, and Bahraini aviation authorities. The collision exposes systemic failures across multiple safety barriers. Primary investigation findings identify air traffic control shortcomings as the main cause, including Nielsen's failure to maintain adequate separation and his delayed recognition of the conflict. Single controller operation during maintenance periods proves inadequate for complex airspace management. The investigation reveals critical TCAS procedure ambiguities that create confusion between automated collision avoidance commands and air traffic control instructions. International standards fail to establish clear hierarchy between competing authorities. Technical system failures compound human errors as the STCA conflict alert system remains inoperative on Nielsen's radar display. The backup safety system designed to prevent such collisions proves unavailable when needed most. Communication breakdowns prevent effective coordination between air traffic control centers as telephone systems fail to connect Nielsen with adjacent controllers who detect the conflict on their displays. Russian aviation procedures emphasizing controller authority over TCAS create cultural and operational conflicts with Western aviation safety philosophy. The procedural differences prove deadly when international flights operate in European airspace. Swiss air navigation service SkyGuide faces intense scrutiny for operational procedures, maintenance scheduling, and controller workload management. The investigation reveals organizational failures that enabled individual errors to cause catastrophic results. Legal proceedings follow as families seek accountability for preventable deaths, while aviation authorities worldwide reassess collision avoidance procedures and air traffic control oversight standards. Among Bashkirian Tu-154's victims, architect Vitaly Kaloyev loses his wife Svetlana and children Konstantin and Diana in the collision. The family had been traveling to Spain for a vacation that transformed into unimaginable tragedy. Kaloyev's grief transforms into rage as he holds air traffic controller Peter Nielsen personally responsible for his family's deaths. The bereaved father cannot accept the systemic failures explanation when he needs someone to blame. On February 24, 2004, Kaloyev travels to Nielsen's home in Switzerland and confronts the controller about his role in the collision. The meeting escalates into violence as Kaloyev fatally stabs Nielsen in an act of personal revenge. Swiss authorities arrest Kaloyev for murder, but Russian public opinion supports his actions as justified vengeance for negligent homicide. The case becomes an international incident reflecting different cultural attitudes toward justice and accountability. Kaloyev serves reduced prison time and returns to Russia as a controversial figure, viewed as a grieving father seeking justice by some, as a murderer by others. His actions highlight the human cost of aviation accidents beyond statistical casualties. The personal tragedy adds another layer to the Überlingen collision's impact, demonstrating how aviation accidents affect families, communities, and individuals connected to victims. Nielsen's murder shows how blame and grief can perpetuate tragedy. Russian authorities eventually appoint Kaloyev to a government position, indicating official sympathy for his actions despite international criticism. The Überlingen collision forces fundamental changes in international aviation procedures, establishing TCAS resolution advisories as the ultimate authority in collision avoidance situations worldwide. ICAO mandates that pilots must follow TCAS instructions regardless of conflicting air traffic control directions, ending the procedural ambiguity that contributed to the collision. The new standard applies to all international aviation operations. Air traffic controller training programs worldwide incorporate enhanced conflict resolution procedures, emphasizing coordination with automated collision avoidance systems. Controllers learn to support TCAS operations rather than override them. Technical improvements include mandatory STCA systems at all major air traffic control centers and enhanced radar processing to reduce delayed conflict detection. Backup safety systems receive priority in maintenance scheduling. Staffing requirements change to prevent single controller operations during complex traffic periods, ensuring adequate human resources for safe airspace management. The industry recognizes that cost-cutting cannot compromise safety margins. Communication system redundancy becomes mandatory for critical air traffic control facilities, preventing telephone failures from disrupting coordination between control centers during emergency situations. Russian aviation authorities align their procedures with international TCAS standards, ending the cultural divide between Eastern and Western collision avoidance philosophies. Safety trumps traditional operational preferences. The changes create uniform global procedures for collision avoidance, ensuring that pilots anywhere in the world follow identical responses to TCAS commands regardless of local air traffic control practices. As we conclude this investigation into a preventable mid-air collision, we thank our viewers who follow through the pilot's eyes. These studies of air traffic control failures help us understand aviation communication and safety system coordination. Your support allows us to research these critical aviation safety stories. The Überlingen Collision Memorial honors the 71 victims while ensuring their tragedy drives permanent improvements in aviation safety. The accident becomes a catalyst for enhanced international cooperation in collision avoidance. Bashkirian Airlines ceases operations following the accident, unable to recover from the tragedy and subsequent legal challenges. The airline's closure reflects the devastating impact aviation accidents have on operators and communities. Modern air traffic control procedures emphasize TCAS priority and enhanced conflict detection, making similar collisions extremely unlikely. The systematic changes address every failure mode identified in the investigation. DHL continues cargo operations with enhanced safety procedures while honoring the memory of Captain Phillips and First Officer Campioni. The company implements additional collision avoidance training for all flight crews. The 45 Russian schoolchildren who died aboard Flight 293 are remembered through educational programs promoting international understanding and cooperation, the values they sought to embrace through their UNESCO trip. Peter Nielsen's family establishes memorials supporting air traffic controller safety training and mental health programs, recognizing the human factors challenges facing aviation professionals. Vitaly Kaloyev's story serves as a warning about how grief and blame can perpetuate tragedy, emphasizing the importance of addressing aviation accidents through systematic improvements rather than personal vengeance. The collision's legacy ensures that TCAS now provides ultimate collision avoidance authority worldwide, protecting millions of future passengers from similar tragedies.